Hi friends, welcome back to Rafting Magazine, and on this episode we're going to be talking about flip lines. I got this old school flip line here, and it's kind of a bit of an entrapment hazard. And talking with our friend Mark Hurst from International Rafting, we've been talking a lot about the clean line principle. If you don't know what that is, we got an article and we'll drop a link to that. But we want to talk about these flip lines, why they're so dangerous, why we don't use them, and why these are kind of old school. So before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you're getting all of our updates. So let's talk about these nasty little entrapment hazards. So like my pappy used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in this case, it's actually a little broke. The problem with flip lines that we've had is that there's been no innovation since the very beginning. Flip lines used to be just a quick, easy way for people to flip their boat back over, and then now they've turned into kind of a general utility line. But the question is, why change it? What's the point? Well, you can see this flip line is a little loose on me, and this is a problem. As boaters, you know, you're wearing different clothes, you need to actually have some room in this. So if you have this loose flip line, I could get a whole arm in here, you know, you get some sort of entrapment. It's not the best way to do it. So going out with the olds and in with new school flip lines. So talking with my friend Mark Hurst and Zach Collier, we had discussed flip lines and, you know, what the next generation is, what the next iteration is. And one of the things that people have been talking about a lot are rabbit runners. And rabbit runners are just a piece of webbing that is sewn at the ends to make little loops. Cool thing about rabbit runners is you can barely get a couple fingers in here, but it's just enough for your carabiner to go in there. And then you have all the rest of it to do with it as you need. So a couple of uses for flip lines that are really important are either flipping your boat, which we'll see in a minute. I'll show you guys how these work with kind of the new school flip lines. Another and really important thing that you can do with your boat is to unwrap it with a flip line. So there's a couple ways to do this. You could either wrap it all the way around the tube or just clip to a D-ring and pull on that D-ring to unpin it. There's a couple different ways to do this, and we'll show that in a later video and kind of a more advanced flip line video. But for now, we're going to talk about flipping, and then another big important thing is building anchor systems with these. So with the old school flip lines, anytime that you have a bend or a knot, it's going to reduce your maximum brake strength and your working load limit. So with our old school flip lines, just go ahead and grab that. You can see there's several bends and several knots in this thing. So those bends and knots are going to cause a lot of issues if you're trying to, say, pull a boat, maybe a wrapped boat, or if you've got a fully loaded gear boat and you're trying to pull those off of rocks. That's going to cause some issues. You might see some breakage or some damage. So that's something that we really want to avoid with our flip lines. And to do that, this rabbit runner, it has a maximum brake strength of, I believe, 3,500 pounds. Whereas that other one, you know, I haven't calculated it, but it's definitely going to be a lot less than that. And it's pretty easy to get that much weight into a boat when the river's pouring in it and there's a bunch of tension on it. So if we can help to reduce that or use something that's going to work better in the system, that's going to be great. Plus, on top of that, you don't have a bunch of knots. I mean, flip lines come in all different forms, and when you're tying the knot, you never know how big this little loop is going to be. So you could get a hand in there. If you have kids in the boat, they could get a hand in there. You know, we just want to try to avoid those sorts of things as much as possible. So I'm going to show you some uses for this, and we're going to get out on the water and show you how these things work when you're trying to remount the boat and flip it back over. All right, we're here on the side of the river, and let's say we want to build an anchor system, and all we have is a big thick tree. This is about a 2-foot diameter tree, and if our boat is wrapped or something like that, I mean, I would recommend you try and use rock whenever possible, but you know, if you have to use a tree, we're boaters, we have to improvise, so kind of got to make your judgment on that. But if I'm going to use this tree, easily grab my flip line because it stores up pretty well with the size of this, but get your flip line out, toss it around the tree. Now you see, in this case, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Now the 48-inch may not be big enough to go around the tree. And in that case, you know, this is kind of a good length for flipping the boat, but if we're gonna build an anchor system, we might need something a little bit bigger. So I might recommend you guys pick up a little bit longer one just to keep in a wrap kit or your sweep kit or something like that. That way, when you need to, toss it around the tree, get that anchor set, flip it in the other side with your carabiner, and now, even though it's a little twisted, I would want to clean this up a little bit, but you got a super strong anchor system, doesn't have any knots or bends in it, and you're all set to clip into this, and you can set up a progress capture system or whatever you need to get that boat off or rescue those folks. So that's just one way to set up an anchor system. There's a lot of ways to do it, and again, we'll cover that in a more advanced video. Now, if you're looking for where to get one of these new flip lines and rabbit runners, a couple manufacturers right here. We have a Sterling one, so Sterling was nice enough to send us a couple of these to check out and try out and see how they are. These are about 1 inch, so they're a little bit wider, and they might have trouble fitting in some pockets on your PFD, so you might need to just see how much room you have. This is a 48-inch one. I have a 72 and a 96. So those are all, you know, different sizes that you could get just depending on the length of the flip line that you want. Alternatively, Blue Water Ropes, they do sell rabbit runners that are 7/16, so they're a little bit thinner, you know, almost a 1/4 inch smaller than this. So that's going to be a little better if space is at a premium for you, but either one, they're great flip lines. They're going to work really well for you, and the material they're made out of is pretty fantastic. So if you have questions, please go ahead, drop those in the comments below. Love to hear from you. Always love helping you guys out with more questions or concerns or things you just want to talk about and open the discussion on this stuff. So we will see you guys next time.